clip here, I was talking about a very interesting policy at AwesomeCon. Basically, when you load in, they don't allow you to use your own dolly. Instead, they provided a service where a bunch of guys would come in, help you unload your vehicle, and drive your entire stock to your booth, which is extremely convenient and free. I absolutely loved it. Alright, so it's 10:30. We finished unloading everything and setting up pretty much. And we just found parking. Parking here is expensive. This was the cheapest lot we could find. It's $35, and we are like a good 10-minute walk away from the convention center. Most of the parking seems to be about $50 on average. Alright, the parking center is about a 10-minute walk, so we're gonna go straight to the convention center now. And now it is Friday morning. It's time to open up the shop. I tried to arrive about an hour early before the show starts so I can really take my time getting everything ready, setting up last minute details, and talking with my vendor friends here and there. It was pretty easy. Alright, it's 12:56. We just finished setting up. We have about 4 more minutes until the show opens to the guests, and here it is. It's pretty much the same as we did at our last show. Yeah, we fixed the tablets on there, so hopefully that helps display things. There's a lot of people for Friday. It's pretty busy. Wow, this is cool. Now, the crowd for Friday really exceeded my expectations. Among vendors, it's pretty well known that Fridays are kind of a hit or miss at some conventions. Some of them are painfully slow and some of them are up and coming. I would say the crowd was decent, but it really depended on your location. I had lucked out being next to a drink vendor, and we were selling cups, so we paired really well, and we're kind of pushing customers to each other. And I think we had a good spot. I was in the vendor section, not in the artist alley this time, and had heard mixed review from the other vendors, which I'll get into a little bit later. And here I got this super cool sticker sheet from my girl Jenna. She said she was in the artist alley and she was so gracious to give me this. It's so adorable. Go follow her, you guys. Okay, we are done for day 1. Alright, it's 8:13. We survived day 1. Let's go ahead and rest for tonight. A lot of people going home. Let's go. Oh my goodness. It's about 9 o'clock. We just arrived at the convention center. Let's get started. I was also gifted this adorable axolotl sticker. Unfortunately, I don't have the artist handle, but if you know who you are, please give yourself a shout out. I love it so much. This is the outside of the booth. It's going all the way around. Oh my goodness. This is right in front of our booth. It's crazy. There's no room. Oh my gosh. Jung and I have been non-stop since the con started. All the way around. It is probably the biggest con I've ever been to. Oh my goodness. Alright, this is all we have left. Today was really good actually. We are cleared out for the most part. Yeah, this is all the tote bags we have left. We only have 2 more designs left. We originally came in with 7. And then the cups here did really well. And that's a wrap for day 2. Now, Saturday's crowd was incredible. I was already pretty impressed for Friday's turnout, but Saturday just blew me out of the water. It was busy from start to finish, and we ended the day just exploring around DC and enjoying the cute cafes there. Just made these ones last night. Now, day 3 of Sunday was honestly pretty good for me. It was busy enough where I didn't get any footage, sadly. However, at the end of the con, the very last hour, I was able to kind of walk around. So, this is clearly the slow time. I got to walk around and venture around the artist alley, see some of my friends there, and I was surprised when I asked them how the show was. Most of them said it was not so good for them, which was kind of heartbreaking because I personally had a really good experience. Probably because I lucked out going into the vendor's hall, which, yes, the booths is much more expensive, but I do think it was worth the investment. A lot of the artist alley people complained that there was just way too many artists, and I agree. This was probably the biggest artist alley I've ever seen. There was probably at least like 300 artists, 200 artists. So more than half of the convention was artists. I'd say there were more artists than vendors. Sorry, that was a bit repetitive. But anyway, regardless, I enjoyed walking around the artist alley at the last hour. I could see a lot of people were already packing up. But go ahead and follow my friends Denzel Draws and Magical Kittens Co. They are so talented. I got a couple goodies from their shop. And let's clean up. This is the end result for Sunday. We were cleared out. I would say they took about 80% of our stock. I didn't have any back stock left at all. But yeah, perhaps because I had a really good neighbor, they did attract a lot of customers. But yeah, I had a really good experience for AwesomeCon. The only downside was this part. Loading out was a nightmare, and I should have known because some of my vendor friends did warn me about this. I believe the con ended pretty shortly, around maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when you load in, they don't allow you to use your dolly. You have to use the service where the people kind of like roll your stuff out. And this was a nightmare. So, all the vendors finished the show at like 5 or 6, I think. And we were all in our vehicles waiting outside, which was terrible. We waited so long in that line doing nothing, just waiting to be let into the loading dock. Yeah, so remember when I said the con ended at like 5 or 6 o'clock? We didn't get out of there until 1 a.m. We waited in that line for nearly 5 hours before they actually let us take our stuff out of the convention. It was a nightmare. Vendors were frustrated because we were all waiting in our vehicles for hours and hours just trying to take our stuff home. So I would say that was the biggest downside of the show, is like the organization for loading the vendors out was a huge waste of time. We ended up having to get an extra hotel night because of this. So apparently AwesomeCon didn't really learn their lesson. They had this same issue years prior, as vendors had warned me, but I had no idea it was this bad. I wasn't even the last in line either. When I left at 1 a.m., there was probably at least 30 other vehicles behind me that were still waiting in line. It was a nightmare. They would not let us roll our stuff out. Other than that, that was probably the biggest con. I personally had a really good experience at AwesomeCon, but it's going to vary between different vendors and artists. It really depends on what you sell. Sometimes location is also a factor. I feel for my artist friends because they have such wonderful creations and works, and sadly got the short end of the stick. I kind of lucked out. My booth was expensive, but I lucked out with a good location, so I was constantly bustling and busy. But I did have a friend tell me she was so worried because she only made like 20 sales on Friday. When you guys saw my previous clips, Friday was pretty kicking for me, so I'd say the show is a hit or miss for the artist alley people. I'd say like maybe 8 out of 10 friends said it was bad for them, and 2 said it was like decent or good. So yeah, I might just have had a unique experience, but that is just what I went through personally. yeah, so I hope if you guys go, you enjoy the show as well. I enjoyed AwesomeCon. I definitely want to come back next year. And that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for listening to this super lengthy vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to post some more videos soon. If you made it to the end, comment below a cake, a strawberry cake emoji or something. I love to know the special awesome people who watched until the very end. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!